Hey folks, welcome back to the bench. Sorry about the noise in the background. I got the heater going. What you can see here, I've got an old Sega portable video game system, Game Gear, from a friend that wants me to see if I can fix it. Now, I've done some research, and they did too, and what seems to happen is the capacitors all go kind of bad on these things. And one of the things you do to fix it is just to recap it, replace all the capacitors. So that is what I'm going to try to do today. Now I don't have, well, let me show you what I've got here. I've just got this set of electrolytic capacitors, all different sizes. Yeah, they're not the best quality, but for this purpose they'll do fine. And I also got a list of all the different values that you need. This kit has them all. Now I'll show you what it's doing. It's got fresh batteries. Normally what happens is the screen just goes dim and there's no sound, but in this case the screen's really wonky. And it seems like it kind of does something, but you can't see any of the cartridge displaying. I'm just going to try a different cartridge and see what happens. Just in case, but I suspect it's not the game cartridge. So I'll try this other one here. Pretty sure it's going to do the same thing. Yeah. So capacitors may fix it. There may be a bad connection inside, who knows, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens. I'm going to bust out the trusty iFixit tools. This has, if you can see, this screw is one of those special, I can't remember what they call them, but a lot of people refer to them as video game system screws or something along that line. They take a special kind of bit, but which this kit has, so I'm just going to put all the screws in this little container, and the rest of the screws, I guess I should take the batteries out. Don't know if I'll be successful or not, but what the heck, it's worth a try. Thing's in very nice shape, surprisingly. I can't remember what year these came out. Late mid 90s, something like that. I'm sure someone will correct me, but let's bust her open and see what we see inside. The rest are all just little Phillips screws. Yeah, this thing is mint. It's almost brand new looking. Sorry, I'll get you back in frame. I'm not used to working in front of the camera. I haven't done much for videoing lately. Not that I'm going to make any money on YouTube, because you know that's a bust nowadays. But I still figured I'd do a video so you can see what happens here. Okay, I'll be very surprised if I'm successful or not. Okay, let's crack it open and see what we see. Now this whole mat's anti-static, so be smart when you're working on electronics. Oh boy, even the inside looks mint. There you go. Everything looks like the connections are tight. So that's probably not it. Let's take these connectors out. And like I said, these capacitors go bad. I think this is the soundboard. This is the power supply. And obviously this is the main board. And what people do is they replace all of these surface mount capacitors there, even though they're surface mount. don't know if you can see in there. There's still little electrolytics. So you replace them with, you could get proper surface mount ones, but I just have this style, so you carefully put them in there, insulate them so that they don't touch anything, and try her out. So let's get this main board out as well. Wasn't sure if these screws held it in, but looks like they probably do. Yeah. I'll bring you back once I get this apart. Alright, I got the board out, and as I expected, there's nothing on the back side, but I can still inspect everything, make sure there's no issues. Like I see a blob there that's kind of suspect, looks like a bad joint, and so on. So I can just reflow those and work with that. But and it almost looks like, I don't know if this was repaired at some point or what, because there's still some residue on the board in a few spots. But in any case, what I'm going to do now is replace all these capacitors. And like I said, each capacitor is labeled. Like this is 33, so that means it's 33 microfarad, and it says 6.3 volts. This one's 100 microfarad, 4 volts. 6 to 8 microfarad, 6.3, and so on. Now you want to get the microfarad the right value, but if you put something in that's a higher voltage, it's not going to hurt anything, because some of these are going to have a higher voltage. And also this 68 here, I don't have a 68, so I'm going to put 100 in, just like this one, and that'll work just fine. So I'm going to work on getting all these replaced, and I'll show you the final result, and then we'll power it up and see what happens. Actually, one thing I should mention is how I'm going to go about getting these old capacitors out. Now, because they're surface mount, they're kind of they're a little tricky to get to. So, in my experience, the best thing to do when so you don't damage anything, because these things are also glued down as well, is just carefully cut them out. So I'm going to pick, which one should I pick? One that's easy for you to see. Let's do this 33. So I'm going to do, it's going to be hard to see, maybe if I zoom in and keep you in frame. I don't have any fancy microscopes or anything like that. Let's see. Nah, it's going to be hard to do. Let me zoom out a bit. I'll just cut it out and then I'll show you after. So which one did I say I was going to do? Let's do this 33. So I'm just going to cut the lead. See, this one popped off easy. And you also got to watch with these electrolytics, as I'll show you here. They are polarized. So you got to keep track of what's what. Now if you look at this guy, let's see, I don't know if my camera will focus or not. You can see there's a plus and a minus on, so you got to make sure that you get the right way around. Now this board, let's see here, if you can see that as well, it's got a plus on it, so that helps out. So I was surprised that capacitor came off quite easy, and I'm just going to keep it here. I'm going to do one at a time so I don't lose track of what's what. So that was a 33, and it was a 6.6 volt. So I've got, let's see here, this guy right here. It's actually pretty tiny. This one is a 33 microfarad, but it is a 16 volt. My eyes aren't so good, it's hard to see. So that's fine. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, there's a little band that's pointing to the minus lead. So the minus lead is going to correspond to this guy. So I'm going to make sure I get that minus lead hooked up in the same spot. And we'll get her stuck down. And I may even use a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place, because the old ones were originally glued in. So I will get this one in, and then I'll show you the result, and then I'll just do all the rest. Okay, I got the first one down. It wasn't the most elegant job, but I'll come up with a little bit better solution. I think I'm better off to glue them down before soldering them on. But in any case, let's see, get you in frame. I don't know if you can see with the light, but that one's in place. I'm going to do all the rest, and then I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay folks, well, it's actually a couple of days later. I finally had more time to get out here and finish this off, the capacitors. Now my confidence level is low that this is going to fix it, but I did find a couple of capacitors that were definitely leaking underneath. So you can see on the main board, sorry about the glare, I've changed these all. These are all stuck down with glue to hold them in place. These ones got too close to this, but the buttons are actually on the top side. So what I did with the case was just clearance it a little bit so it'd clear. Probably not the best solution, but that's what I went with. And you can see the big debris field of parts here. Here's the power supply board. I changed these two capacitors, but I didn't change this one because I didn't have the proper value in a voltage rating that would work. It's a 22 microfarad, 35 volts, and this kit I got only has 22 microfarad, 25 volts. So that's the only electrolytic that hasn't been changed. Same with the soundboard's all done as well. These were a little tricky, and they stick out a long ways off the board, but I think they'll be okay. I kind of did a trial run, and I think they will just clear the system board. I might put a piece of plastic or something there just to be sure. And as well, I still need to stake the, sorry, not those guys, but I'm going to stake these with a bit of hot glue too, just to help with support them because they're up off the board. So let's get these stuck down, and I'll get this back together, and then we'll power on and see what happens. Okay, before I put it all together, I just want to show you that indeed is the system board with all the caps replaced. I don't want people saying that I used a different Sega machine, but I know how the internet and YouTube can be. Here's the board with the replaced units, and I'm a little worried about these guys right here hitting this. So that's the moment of truth. Let's kind of do a test fit and before plugging in these connectors and just see what happens. I also had to clear this heat shield. So I'm a little concerned about those guys not clearing. It's going to be hard to tell. Oh, it might just clear the backside here if I just give them a little backwards tweak like so. Alright, let's get this back together. I'll leave the video running or recording, and I'll just fast forward as I fumble my way along trying to make this get back together. Okay, I'm going to leave some of the screws out. And I don't know which way is on. The moment of truth. Let's throw some batteries in and see if this is a bust or a success. Like I say, I will be completely surprised if this works. I'm not sure which way is on with that switch. Oh, and you know what? That shield's stuck in the wrong spot. But let's throw I'll have to take it all apart again and fix that. But let's just throw a cartridge in and see what happens. Screen does light up. Will it work, folks? Well, it's doing something different. Let's check the brightness. Yeah. Still nothing. Say it's different. Let's just try a different cartridge. I'm not even sure if you were on screen. Oh! We got sound. But the screen is still not right. So it's halfway there anyway. So I'll have to continue on, but I'm going to end this video here and I'll bring you back once I decide to work on it some more. So until then, take care and talk to you later.